Hey Bryce, it's Dr. Scott. So this is a screencast of my feedback on your second essay. And what I'm going to do is kind of walk you through some of the bigger issues, and I'll try to hit all of the points on the rubric. The overall, I don't want you to get discouraged. There's a lot of rewriting that needs to be done. But I want to say with this essay, much more than the first essay, you have something to build around. And I want you to kind of have that as the takeaway. When you're writing about the For Freedom mural, like, you actually seem to have something to say about that. And so I kind of want you to see that as like the thing to kind of build around, and you can kind of develop an essay around. So I'm going to give you some feedback about different issues that I noticed, and then instead of special topics this week, we are going to meet individually about your second essay. And so any questions you have, if you want some help brainstorming ideas for the second essay, I'm there. I'm ready to help. So let's kind of go through the essay. I thought the introduction was a decent start. Like, it had a pretty nice pace to it, and you were talking about the right kind of stuff that folks should be talking about in an introduction. I also thought the down here, when you're kind of providing some background information about Dafford, that might be information that could belong in the introduction. Where things start to kind of fall apart with this draft is the thesis statement. Right now, it's not really making an argument. It's just saying that we can interpret art differently, and that's not much of an argument. I think that's things that a lot of folks would agree on. What you'll need to do is kind of think of, like, what kind of argument can you make about two murals that you're looking at. And it seems like the For Freedom mural, you've got something to say about that one. I'm not sure how the Portsmouth Motorcycle Club mural kind of will work with that. And so I'll take you down there to that point, to that paragraph here in just a little bit, and we'll talk about it. In your writing, you can kind of move away from talking about, like, we did this in class or we learned this in class. Like, you're trying to write to people that may not necessarily be in the class, and you're trying to persuade them to kind of see the murals the way that you want us to see them and what you think that the murals are trying to get across. So the statement here, like, as we have previously learned, that's not going to help you out too much. And it's kind of like the paragraph itself is just kind of beginning talking about a source, and it's not really clear, like, how this helps you analyze the mural. So a lot of this information here, you may need to either cut it or put it in that first paragraph that introduces the essay. So yeah, the Motorcycle Club mural paragraph, I don't see much going on there that's going to that allows you to kind of connect it to the For Freedom mural. I do think that you need to talk about both murals in the same paragraph. So it's kind of thinking about, like, what is the message that they try to get across, and then how do they try to get it across. The how, when you're able to answer the how, excuse me, that's what your body paragraphs are about. So it's the For Freedom mural, and maybe another mural that kind of gets across the idea of protection, which is something really interesting that you're writing about in that in the For Freedom mural. Like, they get that idea of protection across through how. Like, well, maybe they get it across by how they show people working, or how they position people in the murals, or how the background of the murals kind of get across the idea of what's being protected. The earth in one for the For Freedom, and then I think you'll need to find another mural that gets across that protection idea, if that's the road you want to go down. But I wanted to say that you'll need to talk about both murals in each body paragraph. For me, when I read this paragraph, it felt like you really had something to say. This idea of protection was definitely there, and it seems like you're more interested in this one. It seems like the motorcycle mural, like, it's cool visually, but as far as, like, pairing that with this mural, it seems like you really don't have much that kind of connects the two. And I see that you're trying to do that in the later paragraphs, but it doesn't really work just yet, because there's not a very meaningful connection there. It's like, well, they're both murals and they're both artistic and they got a lot of colors, but it's not really there's not really a message there that kind of connects the two. So I think what needs to happen from this point is finding another mural that you can pair with a For Freedom mural, and kind of rewriting paragraphs that kind of break down like what are these murals trying to get across, and then that important question is of how, like how are they trying to get them across. I can help you think through some of this, but this is some important critical thinking that you'll have to kind of do on your own, and I can help you get a start, but it'll be kind of up to you to kind of figure out where to go from there. So that's what I have at this point. As far as like integrating sources, I didn't see much of that. There was the, the talk about the goddamn, what am I thinking of? That documentary here. I mean, you mentioned that, but it doesn't seem to really help you. Doesn't really do much in the essay. So you need to integrate two sources. That's not there. So we talked about thesis statement, two sources. We didn't talk about organization, but I think you need to kind of re-brainstorm. We can talk about organization later. There should be a reason why you're going from one paragraph to the other, and now it's just like you're going from motorcycles to the For Freedom mural, and there's not really a reason like why you're going from one to the other. Again, you need to talk about both murals, whatever two murals you're looking at in each paragraph. But there should be a reason like why you're going from one paragraph to another. So that's organization, thesis statement, details. You do a little better job in this essay using details. There are places where I think you need to use more. And again, like the strongest paragraph you have is this one. And you're talking about some of the details, but not really. There's a lot more that you could say, like how they're positioned, what kind of people are there. You say it's 6 men, but I would actually argue with you the person, there's somebody in the middle wearing a Navy uniform, that's a ladies' Navy uniform. So you want to maybe think about that. Why show that kind of diversity? What are they trying to get across there? That could be kind of interesting too. So you have a lot of options. I don't want you to be discouraged here. This paragraph here, this tells me that you can do this. You can totally do this, but it's going to take a bit of work and a bit of thinking. So details, we talked about that. And let's go to the rubric and see if there's other stuff to maybe chat about. So here's the rubric for this assignment. So thesis statement, it's not close just yet because it's not really making an argument at this point. It doesn't have the supporting reasons in there as well. So you're not close there. The supporting details, I think you're a little bit closer there. You've actually got a few details in that For Freedom paragraph. We need to make sure that you're using details throughout the essay, and whatever that ends up looking like. Organization and transitions, there's not a clear reason why you're going from between paragraph and paragraph just yet, and that needs to get sorted out. Source integration, you've got one source. It's not necessarily integrated into your writing. It just kind of takes up a paragraph, so that'll need to get fixed. And then I didn't see a visual inserted in there, and I kind of forget where you're at with the semicolons, but I don't remember necessarily seeing them, and I don't see an MLA works cited page, so there's a bit of work to do there. Okay, the bigger issue is the brainstorming. Again, that paragraph about For Freedom tells me you can do this. Okay, so we'll chat on Thursday and bring your questions, and I'll do what I can to help you. All right, talk to you soon, Bryce.